Good afternoon, people. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. If you are here and watching this, assuming it's because you are in business, number one, and number two, technology is one of those things that gets in the way of you growing your business. You have a heart for people, but all the technical details of business are just a big frustration for you. So if that's you, you're in the right place. I want to talk today about how your context for your business is getting in the way of you having more income, right? So let's unpack that a little bit. Most people, and this was true for me too, but most people aren't looking big at the bigger picture of what their work does in the world. Okay, so what happens is we get certified in or proficient at a particular skill set. Let's say it's coaching, for example. Okay, and when we are engaged with a client, we feel really strong. We love the work. We love the ahas and insights that our client has. We love participating with their transformation and them getting a new take on their life or their business, whatever it is you coach in, for example. Okay. Or this could be like, let's use something like massage. Let's go towards those types of energy workers. Maybe you're a massage therapist and you're good at massage. And so when somebody comes in, you really love the work of working with a person and their muscle and helping them relieve tension, and off they go. Okay. And so we get good at the work that we actually do. But we miss the bigger context of the impact that our work has on the world. And because of that, what happens is, well, there's a whole snowball of things that happen, but one of the things that happens is we undervalue our service. We undervalue our service. If you believed that your work as a massage therapist did more than relieve tension, if you believed that your work as a massage therapist allowed people to access bigger answers that in life and in work that they can't already answer because they're just too wound up, right? And by the process of you having a massage with them and understanding that the process of unwinding your mind and allowing you to access your soul gave people better answers in life than when they're trying to just ratchet down some more with all the chaos in their head, then you would see as a massage therapist that your work goes way beyond muscle work. Your work actually goes to people finding their true purpose in life. But do you see how that's a much different conversation? You as a massage therapist who does work that helps people get answers to their true purpose in life is a much bigger context than you as a massage therapist simply working on somebody so that they don't feel sore tonight. If you're a coach and you're like, okay, I'm going to coach this person in where they're stuck in their life, if you're a life coach, for example, and that's good for the person, but if you actually saw that by coaching this person, it actually changed the kind of parent they were. And if that person changed the kind of parent they were, those kids grow up to be new kinds of parents. And if you could just coach more people, which impacted more kids, what you'd see is there'd be a whole new generation. Just one or two generations from now, the whole world would look different because of the kind of work that you did as a coach. That's different than just saying, well, I hope this person comes home and has more productive conversations with their spouse. That's not bad. I'm just saying that the conversation, if you can expand the context of your work, you can see that there is more value in the marketplace. There's more value, not just in the marketplace or in the client. There's more value inside of you for the work that you're here to do. And so what happens is when you start to see the bigger context and you start to feel connected to the important work and the groundswell of it all, what happens is you start to take a more, how do I say this? It's not forceful. You take a more prominent stance for the work and the message that you have. If your context is small, it's easy for you to hide. And many of you are hiding from marketing. Some of you might even be going through the motions of marketing, but you're hiding your true voice. You're not saying what you really want to say to people. And you're keeping your message in marketing, if you're even marketing at all, you're keeping your message in marketing very small and safe and confined or constrained to the work of it, the features and the benefits of the work that you do. And you're not actually talking about or accessing the bigger impact of it all or the bigger problem of it all. If you could get to the bigger problem of where we as humanity are stuck, and you could speak to that bigger problem, which is a bigger context, you would feel the power, the power of your voice surging up through your throat chakra and wanting to say the things that you actually want to say to the world. And you would feel your value. And as you said that to the world would feel your value. But you can't get there if you continue to hold a small context for the work you do. You're like, oh, well, I'm just a massage therapist. Oh, well, I'm just a life coach. Oh, well, I just coach individuals to what, like, you have to look further. Look further. What is the impact? Extrapolate, right? Envision. Keep thinking further and further of like, what are the ripple effects of this? If this person works with me, what happens in their world? And if I worked with 10 of those people, 50 of those people, 100 of those people, what would actually happen? What do you actually believe what happens when people have productive sessions with you? It's got to go beyond just the immediate gratification of some acute pain they have. What is the chronic pain that they have? What is the chronic pain that the world has? And you need to link up your work to that chronic problem, that chronic societal problem, that chronic existential problem. How does your work solve the existential problem? We can go through a lot of existential problems, and every one of you can link up your business to those existential problems. So if we say, okay, one of the existential problems in the world right now is dissent. Everybody's fighting everybody else. Tell me that's not true. Everybody's picking sides, and rather than coming from a place of let's seek first to understand, everybody's just kind of throwing reason out the window, and we're all just wanting to fight. That is an existential problem in humanity. So I don't care what work you do. Here's an exercise. I'll give this to you as a homework assignment. How does your work, in whatever industry you're in, how does your work go solve that existential problem? How does your work make a difference for that existential problem? If you're a life coach and you coach enough people, how does that groundswell or the ripple effect of that affect the existential problem? Do you see? So when you start to emotionally connect to the bigger context of your work and how your work solves an existential problem in the world, you start to feel the value of your work. And when you start to feel the value of work, you show up differently in your marketing. You show up differently in public to places and people because you understand the gravity of what you're doing. And when you show up that way, we understand your value and the gravity of what you're doing. And so we take you more seriously. And when we take you more seriously, we're willing to pay you more. Now, value doesn't necessarily have to be equated to dollars. It often is. It might just be that there's more demand because what you have is more valuable. You can keep charging the same rates, but rather than having like a feast or famine income cycle, maybe what if you just had consistent income? You could charge the same rates you charge now, but what if there was a line out your door? And the line out your door is because of the value that you bring to people because of the context or the size of problems that you're solving in the world. You all have access to solve big existential problems. You just haven't looked for it. You just haven't thought of it that way. Let's go back to the massage therapist example, right? If you were a massage therapist, right? How in the world does massage therapy solve the existential problem of people fighting with each other? I think that's pretty clear. When you start to love yourself, so what happens is, by the way, this is how, let's do a little exercise. This is how this can work. You might start to play with, well, what are the problems? What I know is when I'm wound up physically, mentally, and I can't let things go. I make bad decisions. I fight faster. I get into arguments easier. So when I'm able to center, when I'm able to go inside for peace and calm and presence, I make better decisions. I'm less reactive, more responsive, and that exactly solves that problem. Let's say you were a coffee shop. This is a really weird one now. Let's say you were a coffee shop. I don't typically work with coffee shops, right? But let's just use the example. How in the world does a coffee shop solve the existential problem of people fighting with each other? You can already connect those dots, can't you? So let's just do it together. One of the things that happens at a coffee shop is people come to meet together, right? Hey, let's grab coffee. And so coffee happens. And sometimes coffee shops can become this center in a community. I've seen this so many times. I used to work at Starbucks, right? Out of college, I worked at Starbucks, and I have friends who have coffee franchises. And there is this value, or this what's the word I'm looking for? There's this thing that happens inside a coffee shop with relationships and conversation. And if you believed that conversation, by talking to each other, we actually put ourselves in a position to understand one another, all of a sudden you can now see how a coffee shop could contribute to the solution of helping people stop fighting, because you're creating community and connection. So this is, by the way, this is access to, when you go through this thought process and you start to connect what you do to the existential problem in the world, it is access to you solving bigger problems. You have to start to think this way to create more value for your services. And when, like I said, and so we'll wrap with this. Like I said, when you start to create more value because you solve bigger problems, you start to take yourself more seriously. And now you're not just a coffee shop. You're not just a coach. You're not just a massage therapist. You're not just a real estate agent. You are actually contributing to a bigger thing in the world. And when you start to feel that, then we'll start to feel that. Okay? All right, gang. That's it for today. Let me know what you come up with. I'd love to hear how you start to connect what you do in your work, whether it's one-on-one or with a small group or however it is you do it, how that connects to the bigger existential problems. And as you do that, you will start to find that there is more value, not only how you feel more value for what you do, but the world around you finds more value in what you do. Thanks for hanging out with me here in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until tomorrow when we go live again, have a great day.